Right now, as you watch this video, there are men digging with their bare hands in the Democratic Republic of Congo, pulling out minerals worth billions of dollars from the ground. Those minerals are in your phone, your laptop, your electric car, and those men, they earn less than $2 a day. The Democratic Republic of Congo holds an estimated $24 trillion worth of minerals beneath its soil. It has 70 to 80% of the world's cobalt. It has coltan, the mineral inside every smartphone on Earth. It has gold, copper, lithium, resources that power the entire modern world. Yet today, in 2026, Congo has over 25 million people in emergency humanitarian need. It has armed rebel groups controlling mines. It has children dying from cholera in Goma because water systems collapsed. So the question everyone should be asking, but almost nobody is this: how does the richest country in resources become one of the poorest countries in the world? The answer involves the CIA, declassified documents, dead presidents, and a system that has been running for over 60 years. And today, we are going to lay it all out with facts, with sources, and with the receipts. Stay with me, because this will change how you see everything. The year is 1960. Belgium, after decades of one of the most brutal colonial regimes in history, is finally, officially, handing Congo its independence. The Congo Free State under King Leopold II had already killed an estimated 10 million Congolese people. Belgium extracted rubber, ivory, and minerals for decades while leaving the Congolese population in poverty and terror. But now it is 1960, and the Congolese people elect their first prime minister, Patrice Lumumba. Lumumba was electric. He was a former postal clerk and beer salesman who taught himself politics. He believed in one thing above all, that Congo's enormous natural wealth should benefit the Congolese people. He said it plainly: "I refuse to be bribed by the imperialists." He was not a communist. He was not aligned with the Soviet Union. He was a nationalist. He simply wanted his people to own what was under their feet. This was the problem. Congo in 1960 held 100% of its uranium supply under a concession controlled by a Belgian mining company, sold exclusively to the United States. The same uranium that had powered the Manhattan Project. The same uranium that was crucial to American nuclear weapons during the Cold War. When Lumumba traveled to Washington and asked to renegotiate the contract directly, cutting out the Belgian middleman and keeping more profit in Congo, President Eisenhower refused to even meet him. Vice President Nixon refused. The Secretary of State politely told him, no deal. Lumumba went back to Congo, and almost immediately, chaos began. A CIA station chief in Leopoldville named Lawrence Devlin identified Lumumba as a target for covert action. The CIA sent poison, reportedly designed to be placed in his toothpaste. The plan was never used because events moved faster. The CIA backed a young military colonel, Joseph Mobutu, to overthrow Lumumba. Belgian forces were kept in the country under the guise of protecting Belgian citizens. Forces in the Katanga region were trained and supported, and Katanga declared secession from Congo, a breakaway province that happened to sit on top of the richest mines. Lumumba was arrested, beaten, transferred to Katanga. On January 17, 1961, Patrice Lumumba was executed by firing squad. A Belgian officer reportedly delivered the final shot. His body was dissolved in acid. The only physical remains, a gold tooth, was kept by a Belgian police officer for decades. It was finally returned to Congo in 2022. Belgium formally admitted its responsibility in 2002. The United States has never explained its full role. Though declassified CIA files, reviewed by the Senate Church Committee in 1975 and further released in 2017, confirm the assassination program. Ask yourself, what would Congo look like today with its $24 trillion in resources if that man had been allowed to govern? Most people, when they hear USAID, think of food aid, vaccines, water wells, development. That is what the name is designed to make you think. USAID, the United States Agency for International Development, was created by President Kennedy in 1961, the same year Lumumba was killed. Kennedy's original vision was genuinely humanitarian, but within a short time, the CIA began using USAID as, and this is documented, official cover for its intelligence officers and covert operations. This is not a theory. This is from congressional testimony. In the 1960s and 1970s, USAID ran an Office of Public Safety, which worked directly with the CIA to train foreign police forces around the world. A 1973 congressional investigation found that this program had been teaching, in their words, terror and torture techniques in multiple countries. Congress shut it down that same year. In 2009, USAID ran a secret operation in Cuba called Zunzuneo, creating a fake Twitter-like platform to try to destabilize the Cuban government. CIA agents traveled disguised as USAID workers. In Indonesia in the 1960s, USAID, the State Department, and CIA collaborated directly on counterinsurgency efforts, blurring the line between humanitarian aid and military action. So when Trump and Elon Musk shut down USAID in February 2025, the reaction was immediate and enormous. Mainstream media said he is cutting aid to the world's poorest people. And here's where it gets genuinely complicated, because both things can be true simultaneously. Yes, USAID had a documented decades-long history of being used for covert political interference and training programs that harmed people. And the abrupt shutdown of USAID in 2025 also caused real, measurable humanitarian damage. A study published in the journal Science in May 2026 found that the shutdown of USAID was followed by a significant and sustained increase in conflict across Africa's most USAID-dependent regions. Researchers documented double-digit percentage increases in the incidence, severity, and lethality of violence. In the DRC specifically, the loss of USAID-funded water programs in Goma led to a 361% increase in cholera deaths, from 409 in 2024 to 1,888 in 2025. Oxfam projects that due to the aid cuts, a child under 5 could die every 40 seconds by 2030. Total aid to Africa was cut by 20%. The United States had been providing 26% of all aid to the continent. The uncomfortable truth? An institution that was sometimes used as a tool of interference also provided genuine life-saving services that, when removed overnight, caused immediate deaths. This is the complexity that neither side of the political debate wants to acknowledge. Now let's talk about what is actually at stake. The Democratic Republic of Congo holds an estimated $24 trillion worth of mineral wealth beneath its surface. Let that number sit with you for a moment. $24 trillion. It has approximately 70 to 80% of the world's cobalt, the mineral essential for lithium-ion batteries in every electric vehicle and smartphone. In 2024, the DRC mined approximately 254,000 metric tons of cobalt, 13 times more than the second largest producer. It has 40% of the world's coltan processed into tantalum, used in capacitors for phones, computers, aerospace systems, and military equipment. It has massive copper deposits, gold, lithium, and rare earth elements. And yet, over 70% of Congo's population lives on less than $2.15 a day. In 2024, Congo attracted the highest mineral exploration investment in Africa, $130.7 million. The mining sector accounts for 46% of Congo's national GDP. Where is that money going? Right now, the M23 rebel group, backed by Rwanda according to multiple United Nations reports, controls the coltan-rich Rubaya mines in eastern Congo. They are taxing 120 tons of coltan per month, generating an estimated $800,000 per month in revenue. That coltan is then exported through Rwanda, which officially produces almost no coltan itself, yet reported $1.75 billion in mineral exports in 2024. Rwanda's mineral export revenues have more than tripled since 2017. In early 2025, the European Parliament suspended cooperation with Rwanda over its role in smuggling tin, tungsten, and tantalum from conflict zones in the DRC. The United States sources over 35% of its tantalum from Rwanda, 5 times more than it sources from the DRC itself. Supply chain investigations have linked companies including Apple, Microsoft, Samsung, and LG Chem to cobalt sourced through operations with documented human rights violations. So here's what the system looks like in plain terms. Congo digs up the minerals. Congo never processes them. Congo never controls the supply chain. The minerals flow out through rebel groups, through neighboring countries, through international trading companies, to China, to Europe, to the United States. Congo gets the environmental damage, the conflict, and the poverty. Everyone else gets the profit. This is not an accident. This is a structure that was built consciously, deliberately, beginning the moment Patrice Lumumba was killed in 1961. Lumumba is not the only African leader who tried to assert control over his country's resources and was removed. The pattern repeats across the continent. Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first president, Pan-Africanist visionary, was overthrown in a CIA-backed coup in 1966 while he was on a peace mission to Hanoi. Thomas Sankara, president of Burkina Faso from 1983 to 1987, refused IMF loans, planted 10 million trees, achieved food self-sufficiency, and renamed his country from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, which means land of upright people. He was assassinated in 1987. Muammar Gaddafi, whatever one thinks of his governance style, had built Libya into the African country with the highest human development index on the continent. He was pushing for an African gold-based currency that would allow African nations to trade without the US dollar. In 2011, NATO-backed forces removed and killed him. Libya today has open slave auctions. The common thread: every leader who tried to break the economic structure, who tried to process minerals locally, trade independently, or reject Western financial institutions, faced either a coup, assassination, or military intervention. The leaders who cooperated, who signed favorable mining contracts, who accepted IMF structural adjustment programs, who allowed foreign companies to extract without local processing requirements, stayed in power. Today, in 2026, the situation in eastern Congo is catastrophic. M23 rebels captured Goma, a city of 2 million people, in early 2025. The DRC government estimates over 7,000 were killed. 700,000 people were internally displaced. The United States previously provided 70% of Congo's humanitarian assistance. That funding is now largely gone. Congo has 25 million people in emergency humanitarian need. It has the worst cholera outbreak the UN has called in 25 years. And yet, Trump is simultaneously pushing a minerals deal with the DRC government. The National Energy Emergency Executive Order specifically highlighted tantalum and niobium from Congo as strategic priorities for the United States. So the question is not simply, is America helping Africa or hurting Africa? The answer, historically and currently, is both, often at the same time, through different agencies and different hands. The aid goes in one door. The minerals go out another. The weapons that create the conflict that justifies the aid come through a third door. And the companies that profit sit comfortably in New York, London, Brussels, and Beijing. This is the machine. And understanding it is the first step to demanding something different. I want to be honest with you about something. None of what I have shared with you today is a secret. The CIA declassified documents exist. The Senate Church Committee report is public. The UN reports on M23 and mineral smuggling are available on the UN website. The Science Journal study on USAID and violence in Africa was published last week. The information is out there. It is just not assembled, connected, and presented in a way that makes the full picture visible. That is what this channel exists to do. If this video gave you something to think about, share it. Not because of the algorithm, because someone in your life needs to understand why the richest continent on Earth remains in crisis and who benefits from keeping it that way. Subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.